to the side. Stranger on the mountain, hanging on your words, walking in the night where everything is good. Oh no, take me to the side. Don't forget what you told me. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. Watching, waiting, my day is praying. There's no escaping. My blood's pumping. I go 100. The hunter, the hunted. Is in the station, crashing through the air. Devils in the details, rap is in your hair. Oh no, I can see the future. Take another picture, drop it on your tongue. Let your body burn down, breathe it in your lungs. Oh no, take me to your leader. Don't forget what you told me. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. Watching, waiting, my day is praying. There's no escaping. My blood's pumping. I go 100. The hunter, the hunted. To the red line, bring you with the phones. Very deep in your mind, soldier in the war. You can run, but you can't hide. Watching, waiting, my play is praying. There's no escaping. My blood's pumping. I go 100. The hunter, the hunted.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Tonight we're talking about ambushes, traps, and lures. Well, I guess we got a little lower. Let's try to get a little higher. Is it better? Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to do the announcements. We're going to do the comments, the opening comments, and then we're going to get. We're going to start with the lesson. But also, if this is your first time, or if you've just been watching a couple of streams, this is for the trackers. It's a tracker channel. So what you're listening to and what you're learning are things that we do in the field that we help each other this way. You're getting to listen in. So
when we get started, before we get started, we want to tell you about a couple other pages that we have on Facebook: Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers in Surrounding Areas, and also Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Sun Center and Database. And then there's also Lead Tracker E is a new Facebook channel, so that if anything ever happens to Jerry's channel, the videos and the things that we share, we have a backup, and we can stream from there if we need to, on YouTube and on Facebook. And then we have emails: Lead Tracker E, no caps, leadtrackere@gmail.com, or Jerry Williams 1927, and the only thing capitalized is the J. Jerry Williams 1927 @outlook.com. And you can also write to us at P.O. Box 655, Antlers, Oklahoma 74523.
I may have put that in the description. You can look there also. Also, the PayPal link for the Bigfoot documentary that we are promoting. I didn't load the review tonight. We had a lot of pictures, and we just didn't get to the review part today. But we did get another good review, and we'll kind of paraphrase that today. Also, with the Cash App is on the screen right here. It's $ capital Tracker, capital Ella. It's $101 for the Bigfoot documentary. Mary Stroughton, we're just waiting on your message, and we will get that right away to you. Matthew, yours is on the way. David Brower, if you can give us an email, we asked you to send us an email also. We'd like to talk with you also. So last night we talked about the film Prey, and versus the knowledge of the Bigfoot documentary, which goes with the knowledge of today also. These predators are around. People are missing. People are taken. People are eaten. I can guarantee the people who did or who were taken does not have this information. The movie Prey, if all the warriors, if that whole village had this information, the movie would turn out totally different. You wouldn't have seen a predator that close to a village, for one thing.
There would be less series of missing 411 bugs.
There was even in the movie, there was so many ambush spots and things that we was looking at, shoots and funnels, that a lot of people missed things like that in the film. But we did cover a lot of that 2 nights ago, so if you want to pick that one up, go back to that one. But the film, the DVD, the Bigfoot documentary we are promoting, has saved lives. It's changed people's lives. And it has deterred Bigfoots from people's homes and areas. It just takes a little work, but the techniques that we've shared and have been sharing do work. You can't get these Bigfoots out of your area. Of course, they will go to your neighbors in those areas. And with the information, with the knowledge, and the video, the DVD video, that if your neighbors don't believe you or don't want to hear anything like that, just show them the DVD. The proof is on the DVD. And then they'll start seeing and recognizing these traps that we're going to be talking about tonight. So we're going to be talking about traps, ambushes, and lures, and techniques to deter, and things to watch out for. We're going to have photos for that, and we're going to have Tracker E start off with prayer to open us up, and then we're going to, as we always do, read the opening comments, and then we'll get started on the discussion for tonight.
Okay. Father, we thank you for the discernment and the divine protection that you offer that protects us and keeps us from every snare of the enemy. And we love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now, were you talking about that one card that had the that verse?
No, I got the verses. I got verses.
Okay. I remember you took a picture, but we're using the same phone that's got the...
Yeah, no, I've got it. It's Job.
Oh.
Second one. I didn't know it would come out like that.
Oh, no. I was just asking if that was the card he was looking for. I mean, I'm not ready yet.
Oh, okay, good.
I was just asking.
But no, it's in the other room. I just prayed. It was just
Oh,
what
okay.
I wanted to pray about.
All right, so I'm gonna turn on the comments here. We're gonna see who's here, see what's going on tonight, and then we'll get started with the lesson.
And that review can be found on our pages too, on our Facebook pages. If they want to see it now tonight.
So
Both post
maybe we can go ahead and paraphrase that.
on all of those. And Carla may come in
Uh,
tonight too.
yeah, and actually, if
She'll
Carla
be
Bell,
able
if
to
you
copy and paste.
okay, yeah, if you do come on tonight, Carla Bell, maybe you could post that review. It was very enlightening to see that, to know that you did get your confirmation. We see the same things you do. You were never crazy, like they've called a lot of people. I've been called that before, but I know I'm not, and I know what I've seen. And now in the DVD, you have proof to take to anybody. You don't have to try to go out in the woods to try to capture something or look at it yourself, and you can just get the DVD and show whoever is a skeptic or who doesn't believe. And I don't see how anybody could not believe, especially. And I don't know exactly how many states or countries we view from or are viewed from, but here in Oklahoma, if you don't know there's Bigfoots around here, you've just been shunned from information. You've been kept in a tight bottle to where you're not receiving any information from the outside world, especially. So we'll have Tracker E begin with the comments and see who's here and see how
It's
we're
here
doing.
already. Linda Garcia, hello. Hello, everyone. Ready for another lesson. I appreciate all the information. Prayers for everyone. Good.
Thank
Good
you,
to see you, Linda. Lisa Lou, hi, y'all. Hi, Tracker E and Jerry. Hello.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa Lou, it's cheese sticks, 99 cents tomorrow at Sonic.
Cheese sticks, 99 cents. Sonic. Thank you for the corn dogs.
Okay, we got Lisa and Linda, the only ones talking so far tonight.
Only one's here tonight.
What is going on?
No Charles, no Joe Blow, no. Okay. Well, we hope to get here soon. We got a lot of information to talk about. But we are talking about the ambush sites, and we're going to talk, pretty much.
Can I say one thing?
Yep, sure can.
We just reached over 500 subscribers with last night's show, so thank you guys for that. We're pretty certain that YouTube holds the numbers down.
Yeah.
But finally, enough people pushed through that we got over 500. So thank y'all very much. We're excited about that.
Yeah. And for us, 500 is good because we don't want, and we tell people to leave. We don't want to hear, we're here to give lessons and educate. We're not here to Moz, bean pie, and all that. We just need to get you this information.
I'm reading, so I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at some of the comments.
Little Panda Wood. Mary.
Hello.
Mary Stoughton is here.
Yep. Steve Walden. Hello from Shamrock, y'all. Hey, Steve.
Okay.
That's what I was laughing at. Lisa Lee says, got y'all throwing the shade. Steve Walden and Donna Nelson. Hi.
How are y'all doing?
Glad to see y'all. Very glad you're here.
Glad you are here.
Okay.
Mary, like I don't know if you just got here, but we did announce that we just need that information, and you will have this information.
As soon as we get it, we'll send it out.
So let's start with cities. Let's start with the people who live in the towns, who Mary says she does have that letter in the mail. And thank you once again. Thank you, Mary. As soon as we get it, same day, we're just going to ship it right back out. So in the cities, I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on. But in the cities, for example, maybe TrackerElla will give us
Danger spots in the cities.
a word about some people who actually work in the town area and is at a well-known, well-lit area. Everyone knows, and it's like a food place, like a Walmart, Home Depots, places like that, restaurants in the towns,
Anywhere that has a wood line nearby.
daycares. But we can give you a prime example right now. We've got multiple, but we just got a message from a guy in Kansas City, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about the Bigfoots in the dumpsters, and he sees them.
Or is that Knoxville, Tennessee? Is it that one?
No.
He also said the same thing.
Tennessee is where we sent the information to.
Both places.
Okay. Well, though in the city, people are reporting Bigfoots, shadows, and things like that in dumpsters, noises, missing people in the alleyways, and things like that. Those are ambush spots. Anywhere like a person on this channel has been helping to deter Bigfoots from their work area. There was a Walmart for a while there. Even though there's reports of missing people in this area, there's reports of people being torn to pieces in this area in the same tree line that's behind this place, this Walmart, where it feeds or brings out the organic foods into this place. And I've seen this place, and it's got so much ambush areas. They stock their pallets sky high right next to the food dumpster, and then they send the young women out, or single, or even two women at the same time at nighttime to dump food into those places, and people come up missing. There's multiple reports of people who are just shopping there who have vanished. Some have been found. One lady was found in that same woodline behind the same Walmart underneath thorned brush. And she was trying to get underneath it as far as she could go. And she had cuts on her legs and things like that. So it sounds like she was drained of blood. They did find her. And this is the same woodline that there's been multiple reports of multiple bodies being found. And yet it's overlooked and not put in the papers there. So Bigfoots are in the cities. They're around the dumpsters. They're around the restaurants, daycares, city parks, restaurants, alleyways, under the bridges, your recreational parks, your shadow corners, your dark corners, your apartment complexes, in your grill and your picnic areas. Look in that tree line. Look for those trees that are pulled down. Look for that brush. It's going to be there, especially when you're cooking and you have children making noise. Children, it's great to let your children have fun, but make sure you secure your area before you have any kind of activities to where loud noises and children are playing.
Abandoned buildings, junkyards, anywhere that the homeless or runaways or addicted people would, anywhere the druggies, anywhere that high crime area, just those are the places that they're going to hide. The victims are easy to get, and in general, people don't act like they care much about when those people disappear, so there's not a big stink raised.
Well, there's multiple ambush areas that you just have been overlooking them. Subways, people in the cities in New York and places like that will jump down and go down into those subways. There used to be people who lived there. I really don't think there's that many that live there now. Not with the the rats that are there and that the Bigfoots have moved in, I'm sure those tunnels have become feeding grounds. So
Sewer systems, drainage systems, large culverts. We found a boot and a crazy amount of hair next to a culvert at a. It wasn't in a city, but it was
yeah.
in a populated area.
Like TrackerElla was saying, sewer systems, those manhole covers. If there's ways to get down there, they'll get up there and watch until somebody's walking or a dog's walking by itself. They're in the towns, they're in the cities. Don't kid yourself.
Roadside parks, small parks, any little wooded lots. It doesn't take much at all. They just need some place to hide. It doesn't take much foliage, and they will also use cellars, root cellars, storm shelters, abandoned buildings. We said those.
Yeah, and so now those are areas in the cities to be looking for, like TrackerElla was talking about, the city parks. Look in those brush lines. Look around food areas.
Cemeteries.
Dark angled areas, cemeteries. Also, now around your home, and you can have, if you're like on a slabbed home, which is like concrete with tubes coming out, like in Louisiana, you're going to have them up on stilts. In some of the flooded areas or something, you're going to have them up on bricks or cinder blocks, or trailer homes. If they're off the ground, these Bigfoots will get underneath your sheeting or knock your sheeting down, or if you don't even have sheeting, they're going to come all the time and visit. They're going to come underneath your house. They're going to listen for who's walking where, what they sound like. They're going to be watching, paying attention to what that sound, who comes outside sounding like that person. Then they know what person is in that room at all times.
They'll vibrate the floor. That's one way you can tell if they're under the house. You'll feel things vibrating in there.
Cars. Your cars are big time ambush spots.
Let me show that photo.
Okay. That's it.
Don't pass it.
Cars are big time ambush spots. You come to and from to that vehicle every time, pretty much every time you come out of that door. And they know that. They know you're going to come back to that car. And if you're coming out to that car at nighttime or early in the morning, they're waiting for you. That'll also happen when you're camping or hiking or visiting the park. When you go off into the mountains or off into the woods, they're going to set up right on your tent or your car and wait for you to return. There's going to be other ones hunting. There's going to be other groups up there. They're going to be, if they get you up there, then they don't need you at the ambush one.
We recommend, sorry.
Oh.
I was going to say we recommend lighting it up from both sides.
Yeah,
the
with
cameras in both
trail
directions. Light it up from both sides with the trail cams or solar lights in both directions, coming and going. They hate the light, so the more you can get around your ambush areas, the better.
Remember, the Bigfoots have a fear of exposure, a fear of starvation, and a fear of losing its prey. And that's being found out also. So you can use those fears also against them. The exposure, light it up. Get your motion sensors, trail cams. Have a headlamp when you come outside. Bring that light whenever you're outside. But when you're in the forest, you don't want to be using light unless you have to use light. You don't want to have a campfire, especially out there deep in the forest. If anybody's ever seen a campfire and you're far away from it, or you'll see that smoke coming up over the mountain, you know somebody's over there. They know somebody's over there. They know you got food, and if you don't have food, you are food. So either way. You got barns at your house, like Jackie was saying about sheds and things. You got to watch those barns, those abandoned homes, those old cabins, those makeshift, even the old homes in the forest that have fallen down or fallen in. They're still being used as makeshift shelters and homes. Not homes, but shelters or ambush spots. Um, so, from the home, now we're going to move out into the forest side. Um, we're going to go and see what's making all these noises. So, as in the DVD, this information is in there also. We're going to start with going 50 yards out. And you're going to hear us talk about that in the DVD. 50 yards out. And this is probably a little paraphrasing, but 50 yards out, the Bigfoots have a no disturbance line so that they do not disturb the prey. So that means from your house, from a daycare, from a work area, from a swimming area, a boating dock, a fishing area, camping area, roadside parks. 50 yards out is where you're going to start finding blinds, structures, chutes, corrals, and more traps that the Bigfoots and these other predators use. Remember that 50 yards out from your home, 50 yards out from your campsite, 50 yards out from your roadside park, 50 yards out. Once you get into that tree line, you're going to see what we're talking about. But the first way to help their traps work is what we call skirting. Skirting is right at the tree line. You're going to have brush. You're going to have a tree there. They're going to pull a tree down and leave it there. And then next week they're going to lean another tree limb over. Next day they're going to pull a sticker down. Next day they're going to push a little brush up, and they're going to leave it there. You're going to see that for a week or two. Get used to it. Next thing you know, next week they're going to pull more stickers in sideways. Now they're going to push a little bit more brush up. They're going to pull that down just a little bit more. Now the vegetation is going to start growing in. And when that vegetation grows in, all of this is hidden to where they've got their eye look. They can see you. Perfect. They know where you're coming out. It's going to be right by your trail. If you take food out to dump in the forest or something, wherever that trail is, that's where that blind is going to be. It's going to be right next to that tree or that brush line. It's already there. These traps are already being put in place. You can find them. There is also, with the traps and ambush, the lures that we're talking about tonight, we also got to let people know it's almost harvest time. Harvest time also, Bigfoots have a harvest time. Villages, towns, people all come up missing around this time, before the winter and during the first frost. Always remember that. They're going to be out and they're looking for food. They're looking to store food throughout the whole winter if they can. And a whole group wants they want everything that's in that area. This is why you don't see their snow tracks for long periods of time, but every once in a while you will. They're already bunkered in. They've got food stored. And when I talk about food, I'm talking about people and animals, snakes, things like that. In these areas, you're not going to have poisonous snakes anymore. It's just a big, long piece of meat to a Bigfoot. So if you've had snakes in your area, one of the signs also is that there will not be any more snakes. So that's what the skirting looks like. Now I don't.
If it's loaded, I did put up a picture of it.
Okay, you can check on. We should have a picture of that skirting and the tree line skirting.
It was in. It might be that. You see it?
Well, let's just click on it.
That's a good example.
This is a good example, but this is also, to me, like more like a shoot.
This is on the outside before a shoot.
Okay. But like the skirting, you can actually see pretty much what we're talking about. How they'll lay a stick over this way, a brush up this way, they'll pull stickers down, they'll pull another one over. And these are done outside your homes and in your backyards. There's so many people that have these in their backyards. Those tree pull downs. It's amazing that people don't know that these Bigfoots are in their backyards or looking through their windows at night at them. They have missing pets, disturbances around the house. Some people even call them ghosts and entities. They just don't, and prowlers. People just, it's just amazing. People don't understand or know these things are at their back door, at their windows, eating their pets. So now that we're past that skirting, and you're gonna find that on the tree line, 50 yards out. It's always there. Bigfoots will put it there. And when you get to behind it, you can actually walk behind it, and you're gonna see that whole area is skirted up to where you can walk back and forth and not even be seen. Well, of course, you're going to be if you walk on like your hands and knees, you're going to have perfect walkways. Don't try to walk straight up because they only come up to look and then they're back down moving. It's much easier for them to move like that than trying to go through the tops. And also another reason, and the same thing that we do when we're tracking, you don't grab those small trees or bump into them. Because that tree has a lot of leaves up here, and once you hit it, this goes like that, and everyone will know you're in that woodline or in those trees. And the Bigfoots know that too. They watch for that, so they're going to get on all fours and move through there. And once you get down low, you're going to see there are tunnels, pathways all through that area.
And it's what's called a spider crawl that they'll do.
Yeah. And the spider crawls and you tell them about the ravines and things? Or?
Okay. Another easy ambush spot is any kind of ravine that keeps you trapped down in the bottom of it. We've seen time and time again that there will be what we call bridges. They're trees that have either blown over naturally and just landed there. They've blown over and they've been moved to a strategic spot, or they've been pushed down in a strategic spot. When they're pushed down, it leaves a hole behind the root system, and they would dig out those holes and create an ambush. When everything takes the path of least resistance, so the animals, the prey, humans, they're gonna, if they need to get across that creek, they're likely gonna try to go across the bridge or the ravine. They'll try to go across the bridge, and predators are waiting on each side, or they're just trapped in between. Same patterns over and over and over. Back at the car when we were talking about ambush spots, there's some new names on here tonight. We just want to make sure you know about these. We call these drop-in pops. This is a stone, sharpened stone. This is a sharpened bone. They will put these behind your tires or in the path so that when you go up over a rock, another obstruction that's a little smoother and a little higher, and you come down, your tire goes pop on it. Or this was found behind our car after we had already parked, and it's happened to several trackers that we've talked to, and in one of our tracking teams it happened twice in one tracking event. So that's another thing to avoid. That's an ambush. If there's drop-in pops, they've got it in for you. The way you avoid that is to have, depending on how many people you have, if you have enough, have one person walk down the road in front of the car and move everything out of the way that might puncture the tires. Be sure you have extra spares. Otherwise, the driver just has to pay as much attention as they can to get through there, or maybe you only drive so far and you walk the rest of the way. Bridges, just natural bridges, especially on these little isolated roads. The old fairy tales about the trolls under the bridge are they're not without reason.
So where you'll find animals too, crossing.
Yes, a lot of animal crossings that will push usually smaller animals out across the road. Anything to slow you down or make you get out of the car, take a picture, say, oh, where'd the little coyote puppy go? We don't have that picture, but we've shown it in other videos. We've had a coyote puppy go across the road and then come back across the opposite way and then come back later and someone
in different vehicles.
In a different vehicle, and here it comes again. They're pushing these animals out there to lure people out. This was at one of those bridge crossings in just an old backcountry road, and growling, grunting, the smells. It's an ambush spot, and also some photos by a family that we went and helped in Louisiana. Land spikes, those are the sharpened tree root balls, or the sharpened sticks, points that are, yes, they can occur naturally, but they can also be picked at and sharpened further, sharpened with stones, and placed strategically over the same way you would the drop and pop, so that when the prey is funneled through, they jump over something and they land on the land spikes, and they either leave a blood trail or they've impaled themselves. So
and this is all along
part of the trap.
Animal trails that we're talking about.
Yes,
that's the skirting. You're going to find the animal trails, and Tracker is explaining the traps that are going to be around these animal trails.
With the corrals, you'll see the trees that are bent over and they're weighted down on one side. These are lower ones, and they weave in much the same as the tree line skirting, but this is in the interior part of the forest.
I think you said bows.
Did I? Okay, I'm sorry. Corrals. But what I'm trying to say is they're like the bows in that they're bent over like the bows, but these are lower to the ground to make corrals. And then you've got the big bows, the arches that the animals go under according to their size. So you've got the archways they go under, and then you've got the side rails for the chutes or corrals. This is a corral that we found at a local swimming hole, and it was just so elaborate. That means they're very, very comfortable there. And there's a nearby rope swing. We found caves. We found bones. We sighted a Bigfoot there. Go back to that other photo. Let me explain it. Okay, on that one.
That's the side
view. A bit out of order. Yeah, they just loaded up a little bit wrong. That's a side view of this corral.
Which one are you looking for?
And then there's a vine. See where his hand? There's that vine that loops down underneath that pole and goes back up. This was constructed. This is not an accident. This is not weather. This is them creating a corral. You can also see a twist. This corral, between these pictures, if you just followed it along, there's another section of it. Those are the bows we're talking about that are just part of building the structures and the areas that they run under and are funneled under. There's more of it, and as you go back over time, it'll be filled in more and more until the animals or the prey, which includes human, have no escape. Just continuing to circle around. It was a circle, basically. They also make them so that the sun will shine directly in it and blind the prey so that they don't even notice the traps. And there's the lighting starting to change on that section of the corral because the direction of the sun, and they will also hide behind the light. That's what predators do. Spiders do it, Bigfoot do it, demons do it. They hide behind the light. They hide in the shadows. Just more of the same, more of the Benzes. It's all part of that same corral. Caves, another ambush spot, clearly. You will find caves where you don't even expect them. A lot of people, we've tracked where livestock has gone missing from an owner and he didn't even know that there were. One of the largest caves we found was dug into his creek bank by one of the tree bridges that I described earlier. You could only see it from, it was around a bend of a creek, and you could only see it coming from one angle, from one direction. And that creek was actually just filled with caves all the way along. A lot of those were from there. That's a cave in Colorado, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
More caves. That's Oklahoma. Same patterns though. They're burrowing animals. They do live underground. If they can do it, they can dig it out. That's where they'll go, anywhere that they can have secrecy and darkness. What else? Shoots, crows, trees, shrubs. Another way, they will hide in the shadows. It doesn't even have to be dark. It can be broad daylight, but there's a shadowed area of your lawn, heavy shadow. Look into that shadow. You can do it even with night vision during the day so that you can separate there's sometimes things within those shadows, and unless you look at it long enough, you won't even know that. Your eyes have to adjust. Cemeteries, we already talked about that. Deer stands are a perfect ambush spot. While you're ambushing the deer, they're ambushing you. Swamps are another great ambush spot. Anywhere that has a steady source of water is going to get a lot of wildlife and therefore a lot of predators.
And here's a picture of a bridge. It's not a close-up, but if you can see, there's a bridge that goes across right up through here. That's what we call a bridge. It's a tree that's knocked over. A ravine or a waterway is to get animals to cross so that they're trapped on that bridge. So either they go down into the ravine, which is even a bigger trap. It's like out of the fire out of the pan into the fire. Or they go left or right, and each side of that ravine has a Bigfoot waiting. So even in like the movie Predator, whenever the guy, what was his name? Billy Landham. He was on that bridge, not knowing that there were predators underneath him, one behind him, and one coming up from the direction they just came. He did not know that standing on that bridge is a trap. Don't be doing things like that. Don't be using them. Don't cross them. And when you find them, report them to either your parents or your family, and let them know that there is a bridge down there and Bigfoots are using it to hunt. And you don't want them hunting in your area.
They will even throw mud up on the banks to make them extra slippery so that prey can't get out.
Yeah, whenever they dig the
Oh, I thought that was it too. This is that large cave we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Can you tell them how tall that is? The opening?
I'm 5'8", and I could just about stand upright in it, and it was the dimensions are in the DVD. I think it back about 11 feet. It was shaped like an L, and it just kept going back further, and I couldn't even see fully into that darkness. So I didn't go too far back around the other leg of that, or the base end of that L. It was, but enough to see that they were still digging, still creating it. Enough to see that I could watch anything that was walking overhead. If I wanted to, I could reach up and pull it through. If it was a small animal, it would fall through. There were stakes in the little runoff channel coming down out of there. That was the only way from there, and it would go further down into the ravine or into the creek. And the banks on either side just simply couldn't get up because the mud that had been pulled out of there was thrown up onto the banks, like in a way that wouldn't be convenient for them to do. So it had to be intentional to do it, and that's what makes sense is to prevent anything from escaping out away from there.
So the Bigfoot will take all the dirt and loose clay from where that tree has fell over. Underneath it, it's loose because of those roots. It's loose. So the Bigfoot will use underneath that fallen tree, underneath that stem part at the bottom. They will dig underneath that and take all this out, make a cave, and can reach up and grab anything that comes across, or they can stand up and just walk out there and get them, or go down into the ravine. But the Bigfoot will take all that soil, all that dirt and mud, and just a little ways down where an animal could go up and get out of that ravine, they'll place all that mud on there, and it makes it real slick and loose and muddy. So when the animals running down a ravine try to go up that way, and you'll see this, you're going to see a lot of footprints that are dug down deep in there because that's layers of mud. So when a deer steps on it, it goes deep into it, and you're going to see those deep imprints there. But it'll be on those escape routes, so if the deer don't make it up that way, it's going to turn and go and still run down through that ravine, which is where they intend for the prey to be, because at the end of that ravine, there are other Bigfoots waiting with open arms for whatever's being forced and ran down through that ravine to them.
They will also put prey in the area themselves to attract more larger prey. So they'll give up one coyote to catch
pack.
To catch a pack. We've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen a wild hog that had been, its leg was ripped off, its
intestines,
vital organs, the soft tissues, the part that has the most protein, it was drained of blood. But the rest of it was, that all was gone, but the rest of it was laying right there, displayed right there at a roadside park, and as bait.
Yep. And it was also by like a lake area.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be wolves, or I mean not wolves, but coyotes, and even other pigs will still come and try to eat on another pig. And that's still just another big ambush that they use. Be very wary of all these things we're talking about.
They will try to lure you with mimicking. It may be, it may sound like your own child calling mom. It may sound like you calling your kid. We've got to be careful about yelling the names out there. In fact, that's in that review that we got today. She was complimenting her wisdom of telling people to change the name that they call if they're out there. Don't do it more than a couple of times because they will mimic just that quickly. And short sentences they can do. They can do vocals that sound like any kind of machinery, animal, weather, humans, what else?
Chainsaws, airplanes,
birds, any kind of critters.
Any kind of sound out there, they'll have somebody working on it. Everybody has a certain job. Well, every Bigfoot has a certain duty or job in their troop, and they're always together. You're never going to find a Bigfoot alone. There are no rogue Bigfoots. There are groups that hunt together. That's how they survive. They have groups. They run into other groups. They can either pass or they do have their own territorial battles. Your food out there.
I've heard them sound like thunder. I've heard them sound like Native American flutes. Music. We've got a report of somebody that said it sounded, they played orchestra music, and then it wasn't very long later that was mimicked back to them. boomerang. Just you name it, they can throw voices and they can mimic. That's it for that
There's
one.
and so all these animal trails, you're gonna find all these ambush things that we're talking about. And when you have the DVD, you can watch it over and over and over, which we do recommend because some people has asked questions who has the DVD, but those answers are in the DVD, and all we ask is just you watch it again, and you will find those answers. So the animal trails, the human trails also have a lot of traps, like we talked about with the ravines and everything. But also, before we get too far, I also want to say that TV, um, the documentaries, the Bigfoot information that's been before us has been information that could get a lot of people harmed and hurt, if not killed and missing. We don't want you wood knocking, whooping, making blasting calls, trying to attract, using blood. Um, we
Gifting.
we've even been in places where people use like the feminine tissue of to attract Bigfoots in that area. And there were ambush spots, campsites. They were trying to lure these things in. Um, I don't know. It's just knowing that these creatures are hunting people, and we got so many people still wanting to go camping who doesn't know a thing about predators or these ambush spots.
We've got people who do know about that, who have heard us clearly explain about this, who we've left no doubt as to what's out there, and they're still begging to go out there and be used as bait. What do you do with that? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, we just keep moving forward and keep trying to get the truth out there. And it's out of concern. No other reason. Concern.
Society teaches all of us to be the victims, to be uneducated, to be ignorant of the fact of these creatures, to be ignorant of spirituality,
To be silly,
to be comedians, to be sarcastic, those kind of things, which is just making us weak, which makes us demean each other, which makes us separate from each other, because there's times you're going to need your neighbor. Those times, if you got Bigfoots around you, you need your neighbors. And when it comes to a Bigfoot picking and choosing who to eat or who to, it's not going to pick a color. You're going to need your neighbors. Spirituality, that is a protection for you also. But the ones without it, who hasn't been taught it, those are sitting ducks too. They have no backing. You can't be calling on Jesus whenever you're going to, go and rip somebody off the next day, or go steal something the next day, or go hurt somebody the next day.
or call on his name for protection, but you don't actually believe it's there. You're just throwing it out in case. It may not work for you.
Yeah. So you have to know about your spirituality, those thresholds, your body, your mind, your house, your car, your tent can be a threshold. But you have to be secure in your faith, secure in your knowledge. You have to have the knowledge to know that all this is going to work, and that you do not have to have fear. Bigfoots also, whenever you're at the swimming areas, the boating areas, Bigfoots do swim. Bigfoots do swim underwater. Bigfoots do hold their breath. I just can't believe people just don't understand that. A dog, a monkey, anything else can hold. A duck can hold their breath. People just, I don't know why people can't get to the fact that, if they have our same attributes, they can still do the same physical, even though they have more multiple DNAs and they do more things. like hang upside down and things like that with their claws. But these Bigfoot swim. They will turn your boat over. Um,
They will try to keep you swimming in the water so long that you are too tired and you drown. They will drown you themselves. They will capsize the boat, climb into the boat. It's happened. Everything we're talking about, we know of cases where it's happened.
they will drink the blood. If you find people on the roadsides and ditches, drowning victims, they will drink that blood. Because if people do come and look for that person, they will put it in the spot to where people can find it. But if nobody comes looking for that body, that's meat for them. And they will store it and they will take it. That is another missing person.
Otherwise, the blood is just pure energy and no crash, no. Like after you eat carbs and you get real tired, they're just having the plain blood. That's more power for them.
Yeah. So if there's a drowning in your area, or someone is found in a ditch or something like that, or even if they say it's a dog attack and they got little dogs around there, which we know that that's not true, but check for that blood loss. Those cuts that little dogs are going to make don't equal to the amount of blood loss that's going to happen. Watch for those things. The corrals, the skirtings, the blinds, the bridges, they're everywhere. We've found that everywhere we've been. TrackerElla was just mentioning about the mud holes on the dirt roads, mountain roads.
Or where people go four-wheeling. We went down one trail with a search and rescue guy. He was training with us, and almost every single bend had a blind. All but two had a blind right next to where there was a mud hole. They will dig out those holes and make them worse. There's another thing. You might have a creek with only a foot of water in it, but they can dig out a 4-foot hole and just hunker down in there and stay cool all day long, and all that's up is this, and you wouldn't even see them. You would never dream that something was there.
Also, in the mud holes, they'll dig deeper. So when your car comes through, drops in that big hole that you didn't know was in that small little flat mud hole.
That'd also be a great spot to put a drop-in pot. We haven't found that yet, but if they think of it, they'll do it.
But you will also find Bigfoot blinds on every mud hole, every corner, especially in the mountainous areas, so dirt roads.
Or bad spots in the road when you see a lot of squeal marks on the road.
Yes.
Or really just a rough part of the road, maybe shredded tires a lot in one area, a lot of roadkill in one area. That's an ambush spot.
Notice those things. Notice those things. Just the other day, we had marked a spot like that. There were skid marks, animals, and we noticed these things because we're always paying attention. We was coming back maybe about a week later or something, and we just got through saying we're coming up on that next spot where it's a perfect ambush spot. We come over the hill, and there was a car off the road in the ditch. Of course, there was highway patrol there at that time. But if that would have happened at night time, that there was no one out there.
She hit a tree right there at a little bitty creek.
Yeah, and it was sticking nose down.
Yeah,
in the creek. And we can tell people this, but until you see the DVD, until you share all this information with your family, and that's also something too for you to be able to say, here, if you don't believe me, sit down and watch this with me. Learn everything you can. It will only make your family safe.
And we're not saying that every single one of these things is an ambush every single time. We're saying these are potential spots, and they're also potential spots for human predators. Just use your head, and a lot of the things overlap between spiritual predators, human predators, and Bigfoot things, mutations. Yes, spiritual. How long have we been
now for me, TrackerElla she'll always put it kind of nicely for normal people. I don't work that way, but so you'll hear me say something in Tracker. You'll say, "Well, this is kind of what he means," and everything. But to me, I know they're traps, and I take it very serious when I'm out there. When I'm on the road, it's all serious. Until we're home safe, my alert is up. And to me, now Tracker E did explain that not every one of these things are going to be. What'd you say?
An ambush spot every time, but they have great potential to be. So many of the times they are, and you just have to be aware.
And for me, I see every place as an ambush spot. Just because there's not a Bigfoot there this time, that has been used by a predator.
Yeah. I'm
But,
just saying, if somebody goes to your roadside park and they leave and nothing happened, they're going to say, well, I was there and nothing happened.
Yeah, I hate.
It wasn't your day that day.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was your day that day.
Yeah, and you probably had a divine intervention. Somebody else's car pulled up,
day.
another group pulled up, or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So all these traps and ravines are big time traps. We were led down when we was tracking some Bigfoots with Tracker M. At one time we was tracking some 21 footers. I mean, as far as inch on the feet, and they left us some very good thick prints that led right down into this ravine, right into the dark shadow. So even if we were people just cast, their very best print that they left for us was down in that ravine, and that was big traps. So they watch out. They will set traps for you. They will run you into traps. Todd Standing, he got ran into a trap, got a spike, the land spike, what we're talking about, through his leg. And I think I have a picture of a spike. I haven't seen, but we had uploaded quite a few pictures. So. Now this is a what we call a land spike. It's that black right here, right up here, right there. That is a sharpened tip that's got a little hay over there. It's right over a stump, right over a log where you have to jump, and you will impale yourself. And this is something Todd Standing got impaled with. It's just like hunting a bear with them. One will make an appearance over here, turn you that way. Another one make an appearance over here, it'll turn you back this way. Two make an appearance on both sides, you're going to keep going straight. They will lure you into a trap, or they will force you into a trap. If you're looking for them, if they know that you're not there hunting, you're not there camping, fishing, swimming, you got weapons, you're moving slow, they know. They want your other woods. They have offspring in that area, other creatures. So for them to continue to eat, they have to protect each other. So they will do that by, if they take somebody, they will definitely bring that person back. Or they will kill that person, drink the blood, but leave that person where they can be found. So that search is called off. Or that it stops. They don't want to be exposed in any way, any manner.
There are certain power locations that you're just going to have to learn to feel energy. There's spots where there's more negative energy running through it, or sometimes positive, and learn to pay attention to things like chills and things that your body feels. Pay attention to those things. If you get a bad feeling, in other words, time to go. Just go. Your body's telling you. It's warning you. Did we, back under houses, did we mention trash and mailboxes? two things that are out of order back under houses. Trash areas, wherever you leave your trash inside, that's an ambush spot. And your mailbox is where you stop to check your mail. Look around, whatever can see it, and see if you find a blind.
Also, you, like for a human predator or even the Bigfoot predators, you actually help these creatures, these predators, capture you or your children or your pets. Everyone does this. We do recommend that you don't do this anymore and to change it, but the way that happens is through routines, schedules, and habits. You go to work at the same time, you get up at the same time, you eat breakfast at the same time, you eat lunch at the same time, you take the dog out at the same time, you check on something outside at the same time, the animals, you feed the chickens, you feed the cows, the pigs, horses, you come back in, you change, you shower, you get ready for whatever else you're going to do throughout the day. You're gone, you come back at 5. You have supper ready by 6 or getting it ready. Dinner at 7, watch a little TV, watch up to about the news, and go to bed. That's your routine, your schedule, and your habit. Bigfoots know it. Predators, human predators know it. They're just looking for the opportunity after that. Gas stations, rest stops, restaurants, hotels. Those are ambush spots also. Everyone's tired. They just want to get in the hotel, whatever. They're careless.
Arms are full.
Arms are full. They're not watching the children. Some people even leave their children out in the vehicle until they get all the luggage in. Then they'll try to come back. Children vanish out of cars. The GPS can be a trap, an ambush. There's a place called Paradox, New York. If you ever go to this place, don't rely on GPS. And everyone knows that a paradox is an endless loop. It's a continuation. So I was there one time using GPS, but I also had a map. And the map said go straight. You'll go right to the interstate. GPS said take a left and take route whatever, 99, 66, whatever it was. It was those kind of numbers. To take that route, which that route would have took me all the way up to the mountains and circle, would have came back almost to the same spot, but there's no gas stations. If you didn't go up there with a full tank, you ain't making it back. And these are high in the mountains, so GPS, some of these places are designed as traps. They have portals there, or it's a large feeding area that people don't mind having a brand new car, truck, or mobile home or SUV that is out of state and doesn't know where they're going. Be careful of people out there. People are traps too, like human predators. We was actually talking to some people who suggested that there was cabins in this area that we could stay at, but it was further down in the back, kind of secluded near the water. To us, that's a big trap.
It looked like a scary movie setup.
It did. And then the person said, y'all be careful out there. And so we stopped to turn around and said, well, is there any reason why you would say y'all be careful out there? He said crazy people. Now that is also a code word like big black bear, big brown bear, crazy people, yeah. Hill people. What's the other one? Feral people, yeah. Things like that. Those are code words for Bigfoot. We went to the next stop a little further down. Almost the same thing happened. People came out to want us to stay and camp in a certain area that no one was there. We would have had water at the back again. And they also said, y'all be careful out there. And did mention the crazy people. So we chose to find another place of lodging for the team. And everything was worked out fine because we know these traps. We know what to look for, what to listen for. And we want this same thing done for y'all. Be patient. Be aware of certain cars that are following, certain people that you're going to see often. Um, there's also human predators out there who do trafficking people. So be safe on your routes to and from. When you're traveling, only uh, go to half a tank. Never go below that. Fill it up, because if there's an accident or another trap, um, it could be hot that day to where you use your air conditioner to stay warm or cool, but you run out of gas, and now you're prey.
Teach your children this too.
Yes, teach your children this. Also, the license plate numbers. Also, some people and some groups do put information on their license plates. You can find Blackwater military and things like that, certain lettering, and we should have uh, a special or a segment on symbols, lettering, and things like that, of how they are used against you and what numbers mean what alphabet means what.
For instance, all your little sticker people with your little children across the back of your window, why are you letting people know that you're traveling around with a bunch of little children?
You're
Don't
a
do that.
soccer
That's bad
mom.
for, yeah.
I got kids.
Just
in
because
here.
you're a sweetheart and would never dream of using that knowledge to get to someone doesn't mean they won't. They're looking for those cars. Great. They got 7. Who they gonna not notice one's missing for a minute? You know, that kind of thing. Pay attention.
Also, when you're on the road, expect if you're the only car on, even if it's a isolated road or it's a road that doesn't have a lot of traffic on it. Um, this is day or night. Like during the day, a Bigfoot or not will cross in front of that 55 miles per hour, or a Bigfoot will send or hold a deer and push it out there, or shove a pig out there in front of you. They'll use armadillos, turtles. Um,
Sometimes even they will cross.
yeah, they'll cross too, just to get you to stop, pull over, try to get a picture, or run into the woods. And then there's a car in the ditch, another person missing, because these predators, the ones that you see, are always a decoy. That's just to get your attention. That's the pretty Bigfoot. That's the pretty dog man or dog woman. Um, that's the small one. That's the one that you'll relate to. The vicious ones, the bigger ones, they're waiting in the ditch. They're waiting in the tree line. They've already got grass covered over them. They help each other in the ambush areas. They'll put leaves on top of each other, pine needles, branches, and wait. And people, just like a trapdoor spider, you can walk right up onto a Bigfoot and not even know it. You can feel that cushion, that give. You're not bouncing on soft soil. You're bouncing on a Bigfoot or another predator, and it could even be a giant snake that's laying in that brush.
Under your trampoline. That's another. It's heavy shadows underneath the trampolines. And kids are out there until late in the evening. It may be lit well on the top, but it's not lit underneath or on the back side.
Even the back side of the porch, whatever side of the porch you come in, there's still, that drop that a porch has on the other side. That can be used also. As you're coming in on one side, it's just laying right there on the other side, and they can get low.
School bus stops.
And big ambush spots.
They've got these kids out there in some periods of the year with this daylight savings time out there at dark waiting. It's dangerous for human predators and for these other predators.
Also, when you're out there camping or something, if you forget something in town, say you forgot the hamburgers, something big like that, stay at your campsite and just eat chips and have hamburgers the next day. We don't recommend you cooking at your campsite. Cook at a public area and then clean up and then go to your campsite. Don't make your campsite smell like food. Please don't do that.
And don't have a ton of music and noise at your campsite. You'll turn your own campsite into an ambush spot.
Yeah, you will create your own ambush spot for yourself. talking, especially people who drink. After a couple, they get careless, loud, don't care, nothing there. Bring it on, that kind of thing. They get loud, they pass out. They're no good. Now the children have no one protecting them who's big and bad and yelling and screaming, who's caused all the noise. Now the children are in the tent going, "What is that noise? Why is nobody awake? Why is this guy snoring so loud that these things are walking right up on us? What's in our grill? What's zipping that tent? What's pulling on the tent? What's poking the tent?" Because it has happened.
And kids are so used to getting in trouble or being told it's their imagination. If they do tell you they hear a noise or they're afraid of something in the dark or they thought they saw something, that a lot of times they won't even tell you when they do see something. So don't do that.
And also, like with the children, dreams. Your dreams are traps. You can also get yourself into a lot of energy vampire kind of predators just by dreaming. Once you open, because dreams are real worlds, you do open up to them. You do open your threshold up, and once you do that, anything can come through because you don't know. You're not supposed to open that threshold. You're supposed to keep your threshold to your mind, to your dreams, everything secure at all times.
This is even why, like TV has certain patterns and waves that put you into a trance state so that you're more receptive, and that's a portal and a way for predators to get in, spiritual predators to get in.
In dream worlds, there's predators in your dreams, in the spiritual world, that wait for you. Someone will look like your mother, your grandfather. Someone will look like a big ball of light. Some will look like sparkly, sporadic electrical sparks. Some will look like a very beautiful open meadow scene with a church or a one-story house out there. Flowing fields.
Enticing.
It could even be a naked woman. It could be a naked man, depending on the sexual. It could be a horror movie kind of type dream. It could be an adventurous dream. It could be an exciting dream. It could be a flying dream. It could be a crying dream. These are emotions that feed and fuel energy. And these energy creatures will feed on you in your dreams, through your mind, through that open portal, through that threshold that you opened up yourself through a dream. And they can also stay with you in this dream world. Just like you can go into a dream world, they can come into this one. You can bring them in, but you can also keep that door shut.
Stop with the dream catchers. Those are not good gifts.
Person talked about he was talking about dreams.
And they may look like an old hag, or if you've had the dreams where you just can't move, you feel suffocated, you feel held down, you feel smothered, you wake up anxious. Those are all spiritual attacks, energetic attacks. You might feel zapped, like electric pulses shooting through you, but it's not in a nice way. It's in an uncomfortable way. Those are spiritual attacks. They're energetically feeding on you. People will even do this to you and may not even realize it, but they're the ones that will leave you feeling heavier as they leave because they've just drained you of energy. Or if they call and you just kind of cringe when you see that number, they may be just an energetic vampire type of person, even if they don't realize it. Everything is expending energy or taking in energy.
Also, when that happens, whenever you feel sluggish, slow in your dreams, you feel like you're paralyzed. You feel like you just can't move, even though you're telling yourself, "Wake up, get up." in your dreams when you feel like you're in quicksand or like you can't fly. That's when you're being fed upon. That's when that energy is, when you feel like you're being held down and paralyzed. You're being fed upon. Um, and that happens in those dreams. Those are traps also. Objects on the highways are traps. How many people go and do daydreaming while they're driving? You found something that's a trap or a dream trap. You looked at it. It could be a stop sign. It could be a rock. It could be a paper cup. It could be um, a thermos that's out in the yard or something. Once you look at it, it's a world. And you just looked into that trap. Next thing you know, you're 10 miles down the road going, you're surprised, first of all, that you're 10 miles down the road like you time traveled, but you've actually, your body took over because you went to another world. You were dreaming, but your body will still remember its function, where it's going, so it will continue to do that. It will get you there safe. But some also, although some people can't decipher that connection, that distinction, and in those, once they're daydreaming, they will wreck. They will turn. Their body will turn as they turn. People have been known to wreck that way too because they can't separate that this is daydream compared to letting the body do what it's or supposed to be doing at that time.
Fantasies are another trap that can lead to poor decisions. Just like daydreams, they would go in the same category. Do we want to do any of the spiritual traps? Okay.
We did talk about the groups Thunder and Lightning. If you don't know about what we're talking about, you need to get the DVD. It's something for us to explain and explain and explain and explain and explain and explain whenever. You should have the DVD by now so that we don't have to explain. You would know what we're talking about. But like with the groups Thunder and Lightning, one of those traps is to get you to leave your threshold and run to the cellar, to lose your faith. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to explain that also again, but you do need to get this Bigfoot documentary because it's just explaining over and over and over and over and over. And that's really why we made the DVD, because these questions are just repetitive, but we give you more than what you're even asking for. But the Thunder and Lightning are groups of Bigfoot that hunt during rain and rainstorms. Only time that they get to do this. The other times they're being fed. This is the time that they get to hunt. They will come to your house. Now, when you hear thunder and lightning, when you hear movement outside, you hit your car alarm. While you're safe inside, secure your home, secure your threshold. Use that alarm every time you hear the alarm, the thunder, but be sporadic. Do a 3, do a 2, do a 3, do a 3, do a 1, do a 4. Don't give a pattern or be repetitious with that. But when you feel the tremble of the thunder, hit your alarm. When you hear lightning, hit your alarm. This is to deter them. But if you do that, you're not going to have a horrific thunderstorm and lightning storm. You're not going to have your whole house shaking. You're not going to have, looks like your roof is going to lift off, because those are groups of Bigfoots shaking your house. Not just one, it's a group. Every corner of your house, they're going to be shaking. They're going to be pushing your roof up. They're going to be they're going to be dropping trees in your yard to make blinds for whenever you come out. But so the trap is the Bigfoot shake your house, rattle your windows, lift your roof if they can. They'll check your doors. They'll try to lift your windows. It's to get you to lose your faith. And once you lose your faith, you are fair game to them. They can eat you then. They can destroy your house and they can just rip trees apart. They can demolish your whole area because you have no faith in Jesus. You decided to run to that public storm shelter, or you decided to try to run outside to your own storm cellar. Those are traps. Inside you are safe. Once you break your threshold for this trap that's set by shaking your cage to get you to run out of it, once you run out of it, you're fair game. That trap is set and sprung, and you sprung it yourself.
He mentioned the name of Jesus. With going back to the dreams, that is one way that you can get yourself out of a dream. If you say the name of Jesus, or something scaring you in your dream, train your brain to say that before you even go to sleep. Tell your body, I don't want to dream tonight. You can say it out loud. Don't dream tonight. Just keep practicing until you do it. But if you do dream, I've tried both the names of Jehovah and Yahweh, the names of God, Father God, and and they didn't work. I was raised up told to do that, and it didn't work. But then later, when I switched it to Jesus or Yeshua, that does work. It does work.
Teach your children not to dream. You don't dream yourself. Remember, dreams are open doors, and there are traps in your dreams. Creatures do come through to feed on your energy. Teach your children not to dream. You can play and do everything tomorrow. Teach your children to pray over themselves, for themselves, before they go to bed, to be protected, and that no evil entity, demonic entity, Bigfoot creatures invade their dreams or disturb them while they rest.
Meditation can be another trap if you're just opening your mind up, just a free for all. Okay, it's empty. Feel it. Or some people will even try to reach spirits or be mediums, and they'll say, "Okay, I'm an empty vessel." My mom actually did that once, and she said a awful face, a demonic face, comes zooming at her from the corner of her room, because she had been taught on TV to say, if you need any help to spirit world, I'll be your vessel. You can talk through me. And that was a terrible mistake that she instantly regretted. But meditation is kind of like the same thing. You have to control your mind. That's totally different from the mind control, the technique that we use, the mind protection technique that we use, which is to empty your mind of everything, not even allow your own interior thoughts or anything else's voice, anyone else's voice in, just complete and total silence. If there's total silence, nothing can trick you. So that's something you have to practice doing.
That was also a message that we got from a viewer. They are getting the DVD, but oh no, maybe I think it was either the review we got today or the other message that we also received today, that either this man or woman told us that that they do understand about demons. They are spiritual. They do have their battles. No, it was a review today because they said it never dawned on me to just block them. And so they've been having struggles, fighting back and forth with them. But now they understand they can just block them and they can't get in. So not only saving lives, but the information given. And like the person who messaged today also got their confirmation of the things that they seen when they were younger. Whenever they were told, that's not what you've seen. Don't say that. Quit talking about that. To the point of almost calling them crazy if they did or didn't do it. I'm not totally sure on that part. But all the other telling the child to be quiet, they didn't say what they seen, and to not talk about it, does lead me to them thinking that.
Talking about spiritual predators, and these things do go hand in hand. One of the ways that we invite them into our own bodies and crossing our own thresholds is through sin, pride, greed, envy, lust, wrath, sloth, gluttony. Gluttony means it can lead to, it's when you eat more than what your body requires. It's a demon's appetite, or any addiction, a demon's appetite in a human body. It can lead to illness, death, lack of personal purpose, taking from others, and deception because you're lying. It can lead to shame and secrecy. One sin always leads to the other sins. Sloth, which is laziness, can lead to illness and uselessness, a feeling of uselessness, depression, lack of personal purpose, and you're not getting done what you're supposed to be here to do. Wrath or anger, that's a trap that leads to chaos, murder, death, wars, screaming and yelling, isolation in family members, breakups of home. Why do these things matter? Because even Bigfoot they listen to what families are having the most turmoil. They're listening to that family out there screaming at each other, and the one kid's isolated and walking off into the woods, or maybe the wife is mad and she's going down to the creek and crying. These are both instances we know of. Both, in one case, the person thinks that the Bigfoot are there to protect her. We actually do care about her, and we strongly disagree with that. We feel she's being deceived, but that's an opening that she should feel so vulnerable that she should need that kind of protection, and that's what comes from just a poor family life from some of these other sins. Lust, infidelity, lack of focus, STDs, and out of balance, that's all under the sin of lust. Envy leads to lack of personal purpose, also wasting time in other sins and wars. Greed leads to lack of focus, or being overly focused, leads to dissatisfaction, out of balance, theft, or crime. Pride, which is really the original sin, leads to dissatisfaction, crimes, deceit, failure in relationships, wars. Those are all the 7 deadlies that you can find, but there's also traumatic events can open you up to spiritual predators, and it's not fair and it shouldn't be, but that's just what it is. Predators don't care if it's fair. In fact, they love it if it's not fair. Grief, trauma, illness, intentionally open yourself up through rituals, witchcraft, necromancy, trying to contact the dead, Ouija boards, angel boards, spirit cards, throwing bones, casting spells. Those are all forms of witchcraft. Anytime you try to control someone, and you can be the sweetest little church lady mother that would never dream of doing witchcraft, but if you're trying to control or manipulate someone, you just performed witchcraft. That's what witchcraft is.
Can you give them some examples on lures?
On lures in outside, or
Yeah,
you mean like mimicking?
Well, like the Bigfoots will use certain techniques to lure children, lure people.
Oh yeah, things like peekaboo. They'll play peekaboo.
Yeah.
We taught them that.
Yeah.
The children's games, the typical children's games.
Bigfoots will play peekaboo. They will play games with your children to lure them into the woods. Some are peekaboo,
hide and seek, red light, green light.
Red Rover.
If you're not looking, they're moving. And
we always say, if you're talking, they're walking. So they're making, while you're making noise, they're creeping up on you. Pets, they'll use pets.
Yeah.
Pups, coyote pups.
They'll simply call your children like this, like you do. Come here. Yeah. They've learned to do that too. So we recommend that instead of doing that, you teach your children to come to you if you do this and turn sideways. Because if the Bigfoot does that, number one, you know that they've been watching you and they're doing that to lure your kid. And number two, it will expose that underarm area that is a spot where you can shoot them. And if they're trying to lure your kid, that is what you need to do. Make sure your kid's
And-
not in the way.
Yeah, and explain it to your child that when I put my arms up like this and turn to my side and call Bobby, you come to me. Now, the child's name is not going to be Bobby, but use that name or use some other name that is not that child's name. That Bigfoot will go, Bobby, Bobby, and he'll go. Then you know it's hunting your children, your kids, and it also gives you a perfect shot underneath the arm to kill it. It is hunting you.
Other lures would be like they
Dogs.
tried to lure me with the sound of a flute.
Oh yeah, sounds,
Disorientation,
tracks.
yeah. If they know you have an interest, let's say they're fixated on you and they're in your area, and they know you have an interest in something. Maybe it's yellow flowers, and you just love yellow flowers, or you just love white stones or whatever. You're going to come out and find those because they're observing you long enough. They know, oh, she's always going to go pick those yellow flowers or something. You'll see little gifts. You might see a pile of feathers outside your front door.
Even blue jay or robin feathers or something will be gifted to you on your front porch.
It might be food. They might share a part of the animal kill with you, and it's to keep you out of the woods so that you leave them alone. You know, here, I'll hunt. Take this. You take that, and I'll keep the rest. You leave me alone.
But also, predators will bring you like a rat. They'll bring you a deer carcass, the leg of a deer. They'll bring you a pig. They'll bring you a possum. They'll bring you a rat. They want to know if also, besides the lure and the gifting, they want to know if you're going to eat what they eat in their area. If you're not taking that cat to eat, if you're not eating that rat, they're also saying, that's what I eat, and we all will eat you. So at least take it and get rid of it. You don't have to eat it, but at least take it and get rid of it.
In my research area, they had observed that I picked up every bone that I found. And there was one time that they tried to trap me with a skull in a particular area.
Like it was placed,
that was a trap that was designed for me.
Yeah. And they will design traps for you. They will watch you.
For your children.
Yeah, they'll see what you like, what you do, what's going to get you a little further out. They will use small puppies, small breeds of puppies.
They will put on clothing so that they can sneak up close to you or close to your home, or get you to stop your car to give them a ride. You know, you couldn't see their face because they had a hoodie on or long dark hair over their face. And always look at the feet too. When you see somebody out walking like that, look at their feet, because we know from personal experience and from stories of others that they're barefoot and predators, if that's what's going on.
No, I sure don't.
Okay.
But we did have a couple of pictures of Bigfoots who had dogs with them. One picture had a Bigfoot with two puppies, and the other one had a Bigfoot. Had the other Bigfoot in a different photo had a little white puppy. They use them to lure children into the forest, and we've talked about that a dog or a puppy that's in the forest is not going to be yapping in the forest. They're going to come out of that forest to the home, to where the food is, and to where the people are. It's not going to wait out there deep in the woods calling and yapping like that for children or people to go out there. But they will use objects. They will use animals. They will use campsites. They will build you a campsite. They will put stones in a circle and put wood in that campfire. They will also put wood on the side of it. They'll put a rock there for you to set down. They'll build you a campsite. Be very wary, especially look around, watch, check the prints, get that 50 yards out, do your scouting in all these locations.
Or maybe it's a nice cooler randomly in the woods, or a water tank right in the woods in a path where it's just handy and so good to pick up. Those are traps.
Also, on those trails, you're going to find like brush. I mean, like say this is the top of the leaf or the little stem. They'll pick these up and they'll put them on another piece of wood like this. So when you step on this, it goes. You'll find those out there, and as soon as you step on it, you're gonna know because it's gonna go. You're gonna, and they're just listening for that little sound. They're already watching. They know you're gonna come through there, but when they hear that or see that tree move, food is in the area. That's all it means to them.
I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, that was quite a bit. So we're gonna tonight we talked about the traps, lures, ambush areas, especially around the home. We got to be very observant about that. We've covered on the road, roadside parks, camping areas, fishing, hunting, boating, spiritual dreams, objects in dreams. Quite a bit on the traps. There's a lot of them out there. We want you to know about all of them. And just when you get out there, think about what is this most strategic. What is the best place? If I was going to sneak up on somebody, where would I be? And go check and look in those places. You're going to see that they're pushed down. There's bedding there. There's like stickers that are bunched up so they can sit on the inside and watch. Look behind those trees. Go 50 yards out. Trust us on that.
Can you show that one?
Yeah. And this is a whole hut.
Yeah.
They have these huts, homes, things like that. They stay cool in there. They hunt in there. They eat in there. They plan their hunting areas and things like that.
There's a lot of vocals right there too, and that was right by a railroad tracks in Antlers. That was East Texas.
There are traps everywhere.
Don't be scared. Be prepared. Just be wary.
Yeah, y'all be prepared and me. I'm always on alert. I'm always looking. There's not a day I'm not spotting, checking something out. I want to make sure our family is safe as possible. We do our daily checks. We have certain areas where we look out a certain window at a certain time. That way we can see if there's any discoloration, any movement, anything been shifted. We do those periodically, daily, when possible, when we're here. We make sure we listen. We look for birds, crows, ravens, owls. Look for vegetation, wildlife, deer, skunks, anything that might be in our area. We're observant too. We have to be. A lot of people just really haven't gotten that. These are serious matters. People do come up missing, and we're not going to be those people. And we don't want anyone else to be those people. That's why we built this DVD, compiled it. If you've heard any review of this of the DVD, you'll know it's only helped. It's only saved lives. It's only a very important, knowledgeable DVD, a Bigfoot documentary that you do need to know. The other channels or documentaries, they're all things that will get you harmed or hurt or killed or come up missing.
Or they have a lot of gaps.
Or they have a lot of gaps and no answers, more opinions than anything. I don't recommend that you. It's okay to go there and visit and have fun and look at what they're doing. Sometimes I'll pop in there just to say hi. That's about all I'm doing because they don't have the information or the knowledge that we do to where we can have a conversation. So when I go to those other channels, it's just to see what's going on, see how People that I've met in the past are doing really. It's just
Yeah, I
catching
was
up.
going to
Really.
say, don't bet your life on the knowledge that you will get there. Don't bet your life or your family's life on the knowledge coming out of the shows that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And we don't spend that much time anymore looking at any
No.
of them. We're too busy trying to, like, we already know what we know and we're trying to get it out there. But
And a lot of times we'll watch our own video because we don't have TV, so most of the time we're just watching what we just broadcast.
see if we've missed something.
To see if we forgot to tell you something, or so we can get in here the next time, because we want you to have all the information and all the knowledge that you need. You do need this. Can't stress it enough. And people who has received the DVD will tell you you do need this also.
We're very proud that 100% of the reviews has been fantastic. Every single review has been just, we're very, very proud of it.
And like we were talking earlier, some of the streams earlier, that there's been researchers from 30 years back that has told us we've never heard some of that information that that you're giving and sharing. So we're gonna get ready to close tonight. We're gonna go and do the comments and catch up and say hi to everybody real fast. Then we'll have a closing prayer. Then we'll close out with some music, and then we will see you in 2 nights from now, which will be the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
The 2nd of September. And we may have a special broadcast about that. But I think, what was we going to do for the next one? We talked about it.
Well, we didn't know if we would need to.
Yeah,
we talked about that when we did preparation.
Oh, yeah,
too long ago. We didn't know if this one was going to turn into a 2-show thing, but I think one's enough.
Yeah, we was going to do a preparation stream, but we remember that we did a preparation one probably about 4 streams ago. So that's what we do when we get ready for the field. If you missed that one, please go back and watch that over again.
And we're about to do comments. And I lost the card where I had some verses picked out that we were going to use tonight. Y'all put any verses that I know that the 2 that I had selected were out of Job. Y'all put up the verses. We have a lot of believers here. Y'all put up verses that you think apply, or maybe you have quotes from somewhere else.
That has to do with
traps, ambushes, snares
in the Bible. It's in there, and it tells you.
Yes.
Lack of knowledge is going to get you caught.
Yeah.
Wrapped up by the feet.
Yes. That it was in Job, but I can't remember where exactly it lived. The verse. Donna says, do you suppose a woman's monthly cycle plays a role in her chances of getting stalked by a Bigfoot? Absolutely.
I would say getting eaten by a Bigfoot.
100%.
Just like a shark, they're attracted to that blood scent. It drives them crazy. It's what they want.
Also, just pheromones from even people at Lover's Lane, things like that attracts them also. Mm-hmm. Malcolm. Hey, Malcolm. Halito, Jerry, and E, and everyone. Charles, there he is. Halito, I'm late again. So sorry. Oh, Charles. 2 days in a row. Dr. Grayson, grateful. Hello again. Hello from the Natchez Trace area of Mississippi. Man, that is a beautiful road. And I went down there a couple years ago, and I couldn't believe the destruction of the tornadoes, all the trees. I've never seen so many trees down ever. That was awful. Yeah. I didn't know then what I know now. I was driving on the Natchez Trace today. I was looking for signs. Not sure, but I think I saw 2 blinds along a heavily forested drive.
I'm sure you did.
No question you did.
And I hope you've ordered this, because you will definitely know after that.
I checked the mileage, and I'm about 3 to 5 miles from a year-round creek. Yeah, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump for a Bigfoot. Yep. I appreciate y'all. We'll order a DVD soon, then we will have to wait until we can get a DVD player. Well, we sure appreciate you being here.
I would actually say, whenever you get a chance and do get the DVD, talk to some of your friends. Someone has a DVD player.
Blu-ray. Make sure it's Blu-ray.
Blu-ray DVD player, and share it with your friends. Say, hey, have you ever seen a Bigfoot documentary? Let's check it out. You can get a couple friends. Like we just had a
Showing.
potluck with some friends, potluck dinner. We had to film together. They didn't have the right DVD player, so we brought ours. We just got together.
PlayStation 3 will also work.
PlayStation 3.
What else was one more?
Computers.
Like a tabletop
desktop.
computer.
Yeah.
Bigfoot Anon says, "Hey y'all,
Hey
there,
y'all, Bigfoot Anon."
Not sure what you're saying wow to. Yes, I saw that baby coyote video after y'all were at the games in Mississippi. Yes, and
yes.
hopefully you also saw the little one about the blind there at those stickball games in Mississippi, right next to there was a car not 3 feet away.
Children, cafeteria, food, garbage, dumpsters, all combination.
We got a good picture of a Bigfoot in there too. I was amazed at all the eyes when y'all were out one night in Mississippi with the infrared night vision. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so that's just what we showed. There was other groups out there, but that was just what we had time to get a picture of because we had other things. But that was just one group. There was other ones on the left side, some on the side of the house, some down the road.
And that's the one that was watching those kids through on the other side. Yeah. That was terrible. Danette, with your beautiful name that I know how to pronounce.
Danette.
Hello, and thank you for telling me how. Charles, do not start gifting these creatures. Absolutely correct. Grace and Grateful, and I love that name, by the way. Every day I cover our property with the powerful and precious blood of Jesus. Then I plead his blood between us and all satanic agents, demons, fallen angels, and all hybrids in Jesus' name. That's a very good and thorough prayer.
There you go.
Very good.
Good job.
The details really are important.
Yeah, it is. Details. Be specific with what you're saying.
I get nervous praying in front of people, but in my head I go into a lot more detail. Just I get nervous and Charles, if you find a place where the little people congregate, is this an area that Bigfoot use? I wouldn't have anything to do with them. I don't know the answer to that question, but they are also their own little wicked entity.
They'll be there. They feed too.
It is definitely not a good idea to be whistling out in the bush. No, it sure isn't. No, it sure isn't.
You're just calling predators in.
Yeah.
Well, what happens whenever they make a wounded rabbit call? Whenever your people are making calls out there, they're not going. They're going whoo, like hooty hoo.
One thing that he says in the DVD that it's funny to me. I got to tell y'all, he talks about the Bigfoot will whoop back to you, but when they're whooping back, they're whooping as they would like a female call, as though that all you got, buddy, kind of thing. Like they're making fun of you.
They're making fun of people whenever they call.
Stop it.
Yeah, they'll call back like whoop whoop.
Red Canyon is back with us again tonight. I used to suffer from night terrors, likely due to prior life experiences. About 10 years ago, my ex told me to say a prayer and they'll go away. It works every time. I'm glad you mentioned it. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. That was Red Canyon. They've been with us the last 3 times, I think.
Oh, great, Red Canyon.
You always have a lot of good comments.
Yes.
Grace and Grateful. This is so good, Tracker E. Thank you.
Oh, great. Awesome.
There was a nice lady in chat on Scott Carpenter's channel who recommended your channel. Blessed to find y'all and learn from you both. Yay!
Oh, great. Let me just...
I have a whole lot of respect for Scott Carpenter. Very nice person. And he's on my friends list, but we've never actually corresponded, and we would love to share notes one day. I love that he is not afraid to talk about portals and woo and stuff like that. I do think there's some blanks that we could fill in for him as well. Charles, stay out of the spider webs. Yeah, we didn't bring that up tonight. Thank you, Charles, who's been paying close attention on the DVD.
Let's click the blue one every time. Let's click onto it so that it shows up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yes, spider webs are in dreams as well. And if you hit a fog or a yellowish, hazy fog mist, that will obliterate your memory. You'll forget why you're there, and some people do get lost in these dreams, such as a coma patient, once they lose their train of thought about getting back. Don't hit those fog or yellow mist in dreams.
And Charles, right, spider webs out in the woods too. Those
Those are
in trap areas.
Yep. Spider webs will let Bigfoots know if people went through.
Mm-hmm. And so many
And
of the
what
things
size?
they do, even the way they lay out their traps, are in a spider web type fashion pattern. Grace and Grateful says, "There's nothing hidden that shall not be revealed in Jesus' name." Oh yeah, that's a great verse. That's a perfect verse. Yes, I love that one. It's one of my favorites. I recommend personalizing and praying Psalm 91. Yes, we read that maybe 2 times ago. One of my favorites for sure, and I feel like it's got me out of a predicament or two. Okay, we sure were looking for verses, I think, there.
Okay.
Yes, I did see that. That video was great. Oh, good.
Good. That's great news that you're going back and checking all that.
Went too far. He's got a lighter touch on this than I do. With Grace and Grateful, with one set of the eyes on left side, I could make out shape of a head. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gross. Praise God. Grace and Grateful. When I go out to feed the guinea fowl, I sing their song. Maybe I should stop singing to them every day. Yeah, probably should. Scott says, "Thanks once again." You're welcome, Scott. Thank you for
Scott.
being here.
Yeah, thank you for coming back and listening.
Jeremy Wilson.
Jeremy.
Hey,
Jeremy's
he always slides in at the end. He's like, "I was here.
I was listening."
Grace and Grateful. Yes, reading Scott's latest book. Y'all overlap quite a bit. Y'all should do an online webinar together. You know, something he recently did, is that the book where he's helping the people with PTSD over Bigfoot experiences and other things? If that's it, I saw a note about that, or a Facebook post about that, and I think that's very much needed. Very, very much needed. And the young man that is in a mental health facility that we've talked about on some of our past episodes because of what's happened with his Bigfoot encounters, should be getting out next week, and y'all keep him in your prayers. His name is Southern. Grace and Grateful says, yes, reading. Okay, I already read that one. Okay, we're caught up on comments. I think we're done.
Okay, great. So tonight was about ambushes, traps, and lures. We're going to go ahead and close with the prayer, then we'll play some music, and we're going to fade out. We will be back in 2 nights from now. We don't know the topic yet because we thought the one that we're going to do for this next one we've already done, and that's just a 2 or 3 streams back. There's one more comment before we get started.
It's the black book that's newer, SASWA. Okay, cool. Thank you. And she says, God bless him. Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and close then. And sometimes we just see what presents itself for our subject. Thank you, Father, for this opportunity. Thank you for these wonderful people that are a part of it. Keep everyone safe and give us all discernment. In Jesus' name, amen.
So in 2 nights from now, we will be back
with something.
Be out there hunting, be observant.
Go look for those pages. Sign up for our pages and hit like and subscribe and all that other stuff.
Trouble with the curb, always in the backseat singing like a bird. Oh no, take me to the moonlight. Stranger on the mountain, hanging on your words, walking in the night, man, everything is good. Oh no,
it's a translucent paper.
take me to the moonlight. Forget what you told me. I'm a reference, she's clothing. flashing through the air, devils in the details, rappers in your hair. Oh no, I can see the future. Take another picture, drop it on your tongue. Let your body burn down, breathe it in your lungs. Oh no, take me to your leader. Forget what you told me. I'm a refuge, she's clothing. Yeah, waiting. Day is praying. There's no escaping. Blood's pumping. I go 100. The hunter, the to the red line, bring you with the force. We deep in your mind, soldier in the war. You can run, but you can't hide.
Anybody read this comment?
Get the news out there today.
Really from this group for trying to sell a Bigfoot DVD. But continue to be an interested member of this group. His suggestion is that people avoid me and the knowledge that we share.
Yeah. Sorry, Dave, you're wrong.
Sorry, Dave, you're wrong. People need this information.
Bigfoot in a hoodie. Have you seen that on any other channel ever?
Ever.